when you say discipleship or when you say disciple, what are you talking about? Because we throw that word around. There are other people. Some people say follower. Some people say apprentice. Some people say all kinds of different things. I know for you, words are very important. When you say disciple or discipleship, what are you talking about?
Well, let me go into some of those other words for a second, and let's talk about some of those. So teacher, okay. If I'm a good teacher, you can give me a subject that I know nothing about, and I could teach someone who doesn't know anything about it enough that they think I know something about it, correct? Okay, we're not talking about that. Coach, I may be the best football coach in the world, and I may be a crap football player. I don't have to be a great football player to be a great coach. I need to know how to get the best out of them to do it. Just making sure you're still there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Your screen's going black occasionally, and we'll let the editors edit that out. Mentor is a bit more of a nuanced one. And I think when we talk about mentors, we do talk a lot about someone who's going to listen to what we're dealing with in business or in life and help us kind of make decisions and think about what we want and how we get it. But a mentor is not rarely trying to make you a copy of him. He's trying to help you pull into where you're supposed to be, what you're doing. So with discipleship, and we want to go into evangelism because that's its own unique thing. But with discipleship, where we like to start is really as Matthew 18 through 20, 28, 18 through 20, is asking someone who's a believer, say, do you believe that is a call for all followers of Jesus? And if they say yes, then the two things to go into are, he says specifically there, make disciples and to observe all that I have commanded you. So you have two things in there. One is, if he says make, we better know how we make one. We better be able to say, yes, I have or haven't made one. I had a call a couple weeks ago from a guy who I'd been in a discipleship journey with, and for various life reasons, he needed to step away from that for a while. And he reached back out when things settled back down. And I asked him, who are you in a discipleship journey with? And he's like, no one. And I said, well, let's start talking again. And so we started meeting again, and I immediately challenged him to say, who are the 5 people that you'd like to be in a discipleship journey with? And he made his list. And a few weeks later, he called me, and it's like, I asked one of them, and they said yes. So he's now on a disciple-making journey. We'll see how the fruit bears from that. But I know at this point, he's a made disciple. He is someone who now knows what to do to make a disciple, and he's on that journey with someone else. So I think that's very important that we don't let it be open-ended. Some journeys go nowhere. Some journeys don't bear fruit. But I think most do if you keep it simple. Then the other one is to obey all that I command. And if someone says yes to that, then we do slowly have to start pushing into that. Well, is your life reflecting that? What are you reading on a daily basis? What is God saying to you each week? He's not saying anything to me. Well, are you reading his word? No. Well, then are you obeying his commands? It starts to feed this sort of, starting to create those habits and all that. But the place we always start are the 9 places in the New Testament where Jesus uses the phrase, my disciples. Discipleship's in there 270 times, I think, but only 9 places, 9 times does Jesus say, my disciples. And I always try and walk anyone through the discipleship, start with those verses, because they're hard verses, they're challenging, and if you can't agree on them, you're not going to get very far. And I think once you start doing that, then it's more of a question of, well, then what does discipleship look like? And again, we try and focus it on what we see Jesus doing with people. He spent time with them. He told them, he taught them, he shared his life with them, and we're not Jesus, and we're not making disciples of us. We're trying to, and I don't like to say, I'll teach you about discipleship. It's join me on a journey of discipleship. We will go on a journey together of what it means to follow Jesus. I get as much out of these relationships as I put into them. So it's not about head knowledge.